Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be makeup red flags. So I'm going to do kind of a chatty get ready with me where we talk about red flags in makeup for me. I've seen a few people do videos like this. I know my friend Nikki Raven did a video like this recently, and so I put it on my list and filled out my answers and then didn't have time to film. And then I know she just did another one with Angelica Nyquist that was more about red flags in reviews themselves. So I might do that one too soon if you'd like. So I'm just going to play with some makeup, do a quick look to then go run some errands and talk about red flags. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Colin. I'm a non-binary Latinx scientist and lover of makeup with a definite soft spot for indie makeup and high-end makeup. And I tend to take a pretty analytical approach to my makeup reviews and my makeup collection as a whole. And I have new content every week, so I'd love to have you subscribe. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about the makeup I use too much. I'm going to do my eyes first. All I have on right now is my skincare and one of the About Face lipsticks. This is the Cherry Pick in the Cranberries. I have a light layer of this on, and then I have some brow gel in my brows. I really love this. I definitely want to get some more shades. And I do have a review of the About Face products that I got a few weeks ago up on my channel. That was my last video, maybe almost a week ago now. I've been busy. So I just put on some eye primer, my normal Urban Decay, and then I'm going to play with the Anastasia Rose Metals palette. I haven't used this in a few weeks, and the color story was just calling to me, especially the shade Nova, so I'm going to be using that for sure. And then I'm just going to use my Haus Labs bronzer as my mirror. So makeup red flags. So I do want to preface by saying these are my personal red flags. They might not be yours. And if you disagree with me, I'm happy to know your opinions in the comments, but don't be mean. I've had more spammy hate comments lately than normal because I've posted some very personal videos about being queer and my gender. So I don't want even more of that. Although I do feel like I got almost universally nice comments on one of my recent videos about being queer, and that meant a lot to me. And like I said in the intro, if you'd like me to do one about reviews specifically, like Nikki and Angelica, and I think Jamila just did one as well, let me know and I can do that as well. This is more about makeup products and makeup marketing. Okay, so the first thing that I wrote down was the term universally flattering. That term gets thrown out way too much, and 95% of the time it's not true. So there are some products that are pretty universally flattering. Like, I feel like everybody agrees the Clinique No Makeup or the Almost lipstick is pretty universally flattering. And there might be a few blushes and like lipsticks and stuff that are, but for the most part, products are not universally flattering. There's too much human variation out there for that to be true. There's too much skin texture, skin type, if you're oily or dry, different skin tones as far as depth, different skin tones as far as undertones. Like, very few things that are universally flattering that are marketed as such. And I feel like most of the time it's like, it's called universally flattering, and it's something that would look really great on like pale skin to like maybe light medium, maybe medium, and that's it. And it's like you're forgetting like the other half or more of the spectrum of human variation that you're just fully ignoring. So if I see that as a claim on something, it's always an immediate like, I don't know about that. And it makes me pause on if I want to even try the product. The second one I have is clean and clean beauty. So there are brands that I like that are clean beauty. Kosas is, I think, a clean brand. Haus Labs, now that they're at Sephora, are a clean brand. But that term, I don't buy because of the clean aspect of it. I buy it because the products are something that I like. Clean beauty is not something that's regulated at all. So like what is clean is, not actually controlled in any way. And a lot of it is just like pseudoscience and fear mongering, and it really is a turnoff. I love Haus Labs. I was like, when I saw that they were going to do clean, but I really, really love the formulas. And I know that it is important for some people, but I wish people knew more about it. So that, like, kind of like vegan makeup or cruelty-free makeup, I think a lot of people don't know what all that means. So it bothers me. Sometimes, like, some of the things that are banned for clean beauty are also things that are banned just in general from cosmetics, or they're things that no one actually puts in cosmetics. So you're like, yeah, it's a harmful ingredient and it's not used in cosmetics for that reason, and you're just putting it on this list to pad the list. So it's like, I'm always a little leery when I see clean on anything. Also, clean eating, clean diet culture, lots of issues with that. So that is a definite red flag outside of makeup as well. The other term which kind of goes hand in hand with that is detox. So detox as a term is used really, really too much. You see it in things like detox teas that the Kardashians are known for, like, shilling, and other ways, but like, those don't do anything. Most people don't understand what detoxing even means. Your body, like, you'll see supplements and things like, you'll take this to detox your body, but your body already detoxes itself. You have a liver and kidneys for a reason. So unless those are not working, you don't need to detox your body. Your body does it itself. So most of that is just like a snake oil, like, it might be something that your body needs, but like, or that would be good for your body, but like, it's not detoxing anything. And I see it as far as beauty in like skincare and like detoxing. Like, you can clean your pores and stuff, but you're not like detoxing your face. It's kind of up there with like blue light glasses and people saying like they help with eye strain or whatever, and all the eye doctors and science are like, no, like, blue light can affect your sleep. Like, if you're looking at your phone a lot at night, because it messes with your circadian rhythm, but they're not doing anything other than that. It's another marketing ploy. The next red flag I wrote down was glitter, specifically pressed glitters. I like a glitter every once in a while. I have some glitters, like some Trixie Cosmetics loose glitters. I have some pressed glittery products, and I like them on occasion, especially if I'm doing a very dramatic, sparkly look, or like, festival, pride makeup, that kind of thing. But in general, I don't want a pressed glitter on a day-to-day. They're often made with unsafe plastic, and they're a pain to remove. Micro glitters are definitely a problem. So like, I like a sparkly eyeshadow, but like, when I see pressed glitters in a palette, it definitely makes me pause and like question if I want to buy the palette itself. So if it's something that has like one or two, I might, depending on the ratio. But if there's more than a handful of pressed glitters, I just often won't buy the palette at all. And I feel like that's more of an issue in drugstore makeup and things like ColourPop, and I don't really buy that anymore anyway, but that is definitely a red flag for me when seeing in a product's description. Okay, so I did my eyes first in case there's any fallout, but there hasn't been, so that's been good. So I'm gonna start on my face soon. The next red flag or thing that I watch out for is shade range. So having both a small shade range and just also like a weird shade range. So small shade ranges obviously are a problem. It's 2023. You shouldn't be making a foundation that like is only white people or only made for like really light skin and white people. Having like, I saw something recently that got announced, and the shade range was like 12 pale shades, one that was around my skin tone, and then like one tan shade and one medium dark shade. And it was like, really? Like, if you can't launch an inclusive shade range, in 2023, then don't launch it. Like, that's just my opinion. I know it's expensive, especially for small brands. Like I know Wayne Goss, that was his excuse, was that he couldn't afford it. And it was like, but then you also launched 5 new products immediately afterwards. And it was like, maybe put some of that money into a better shade range for your foundation, and don't make, you know, a bunch of people, especially people of color, an afterthought and like the second round of things. It's just bad. But also, like, sometimes they'll say like, we have a great shade range and it's 40 shades or 35 shades or something like that. But then you look at them and you're like, these are all weird colors. Like, these are all orange, or like weird, like the undertones are weird. So it's not just about the range itself, but like the colors within the shade range. So I'm just putting a little bit of primer on my nose where I get a little oily, or where I can get oily. It's definitely been better lately, but I've made a couple adjustments to my skincare routine. And then I'm one of the lucky people who you touch my face and it turns red. I think today I'm just gonna use a tinted moisturizer. My skin is not looking too bad. I just wanna even it out a little bit, so I'm gonna use my Nars. Okay, so the next red flag, well, this one's less of a red flag and more of a just like makes me pause. And that is when I see dewy or radiant finish in a product. So I like my foundations and base products to be skin-like, but and I don't have dry skin, I don't have oily skin, I have pretty normal skin. My nose gets a little oily, everything else is just normal. So I'm glad it's a tinted moisturizer and it's sheer, because it's looking a little pale and a little off. Seeing something advertised as dewy or radiant is often like, how radiant is it gonna be? Like, this is described as a pure radiant tinted moisturizer, but it's not overly, it doesn't make me look greasy. I feel like a lot of dewy products made for dewy skin look just greasy after a little while. And I'm someone that wears my makeup all day, so I want it to last, and I don't want to look like like a horrible greasy mess, or have it melt off my skin after a few hours, which has definitely happened with like the Makeup by Mario foundation that was marketed as skin-like radiant or something, but it was not skin-like, it was just shiny, and after 4 hours looked awful. And a foundation shouldn't look bad after 4 hours. So if I see that, it's always like a pause. Am I gonna like this product? Just because it's not very compatible with me. I don't want something ultra matte either. But I look for things like skin-like finish when I'm looking for a base product, or hydrating or something, but not necessarily radiant itself. And going off of that, there's also the opposite end of the spectrum, which is ultra matte. So like seeing an ultra matte lip or ultra matte foundation, like I know people with really oily skin look for that, because then it's gonna balance out and they'll have like normal skin. But for me, ultra matte generally just means it's gonna look a little cakey and it's gonna be uncomfortable, especially with a lipstick. I really wanna try the Melt lipsticks, because they have some shades that look really nice, and I love Melt's other products, but I have yet to actually buy one because they're called ultra matte. Like their bronzer was called ultra matte and isn't, it's just matte, and it actually is a pretty creamy matte in that, but I still like an ultra matte bronzer that's just gonna be on the periphery. That I was okay with, but lips or most of your face, no. So like the shade Mum from Melt looks really, really nice. Looks like something I would love. But just realized I'm using my foundation brush instead of my concealer brush for my nose, which is fine, but so the opposite end of the spectrum of ultra matte is always like I don't like the look. Like, I've seen people out and about in the world many times that have like really matte product after product, and their skin looks terrible most of the time. I think Nikki Tutorials is like the one person that I've seen in like full glam matte makeup that looked nice in person. And I know why some performers do it, like my friends that are drag artists, wear matte products because you're on stage, the light's reflecting, you're sweating, like it makes sense. But it's not something like day-to-day life that I think looks good on most people. Okay, so I just put a little bit of the Milk contour stick on. Still trying this out. I'm really enjoying it, but you know, want to keep trying it as much as possible. So the next thing is face or eye gloss. So this is more about me and textural issues. I like a lip gloss. I wear lip gloss more than I wear lipstick, but I don't like touching lip gloss. I hate swatching lip gloss because then my hands feel gross. I'm also someone that struggles to wear lotion most of the time because the texture. I can only wear it at night before bed. So sticky, glossy things just ick. It's just an ick factor more than anything else. And for eyeglosses, those are generally something that's not going to last very long on your eye. It's going to look gross, and the idea of the feeling lip gloss or gloss, Vaseline, anything on my lid just gives me the ick. So when I see things described for the face or eye that are described in like a glossy term versus like, you know, a highlight or a lit from within or whatever. But when they start using the language like gloss, I'm always like, I don't know about that. And then the next thing that I have is overly gendered language. So this is something like part of the reason I've never bought from Charlotte Tilbury. Also, that will be in a video. I have my list, I just haven't filmed it yet because of time. Going away for 5 days for an interview that involved like prep before flying, you know, prep, like that really like messed with my filming schedule for the month. But really gendered language in your marketing and your promos for your product, or I will say that this is the same for makeup reviews. It's the same. So makeup for the last while has been seen as a feminine women's product. Historically, over the centuries, that's not always the case. I've talked about that before, and we are moving towards more gender inclusive makeup. Haus Labs has done a really great job of that before. Nars does a good job. Lots of brands, Urban Decay, Kosas, but really overly gendered language is a red flag for me. And I'll talk about that a little bit more, especially in regards to Charlotte Tilbury in that video. But it's definitely it tells me the values of the company, especially the way the language is used. I'm just going in with the Haus Labs blush now. I've been using this every day. It's great. I will be doing my February favorites and fails soon. I wanted to do that today, but I don't think I'll have time after this, so we'll see. But maybe tomorrow I'll be able to film that. But I am very, very happy with this blush. So just overly gendered language when it's all like, hey ladies, or whatever, or like, it's just, especially knowing that in general, the beauty community has all genders in it, and a lot of brands are being more inclusive, to continually still be super gendered in your language and your marketing, just like makes me wonder if you want, like it says something about you as a brand, I think. So it's definitely something that I watch for, because as a non-binary person, having like seeing things only targeted towards one gender and like being very purposeful about that doesn't make me feel like you want my money either, which if they don't, that's fine, I won't give it to them, but it is something I watch for. So I'm gonna put a little bit of brown under my eyes, but I'm just gonna use my bronzer. So the next claim, and this is one of the biggest ones, and you see this a lot lately, and this could be a whole video itself, is one, huge claims about a product when they say like, it'll do this, it'll do this, it'll do this, it'll make you instant facelift, it'll do this. Like, that's a red flag. Overly embellished claims is a huge red flag for any product, not just beauty, for food, for medication, for skincare, for clothing. Big, huge, bold claims is always like a wait and pause. Like, don't ever take those as face value. Always like pause and be like, can you actually, especially when they're like, oh, we'll do this, 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 and it's like, can one thing really do all of that? Generally, no. But big claims about smoothing your skin, making you look poreless, things like that, that is a huge thing in the beauty sphere that is often just false. Like, I really wish, like, I hate how often you see TikToks and reels and things where it's like someone who has wet foundation over their face and then they set it and then they're like, wow, I have no pores anymore. And it's like, well, you set your foundation, you made it matte, so it's no longer reflecting light the same way, and that's gonna, on camera, make you look like you have no pores or look more blurred. But is it doing that in real life? No. Like, no makeup product, no primer, no foundation, they can like smooth your face. Some things will make, you know, products will definitely emphasize skin texture, and might make you look worse. I've definitely tried those where I was like, my skin normally looks fine, but this is making my skin look worse. Overly matte things tend to be one of those. But making you say like you have poreless skin, no texture, blurred your skin, generally are not really, there might be a little bit of a blur, but it's not really, like, you can't erase, makeup is not going to magically erase skin texture or your pores. You need your pores to exist. Like, they are just a part of your biology. And texture is also just a matter of, like, a fact of life. Like, every skin has texture of some kind. The degree and the type of texture is going to vary person to person, but all skin has texture inherently by being skin. So I'm always very leery when I see things acting like it's going to completely remove your texture and make your face look like completely smooth. It's like you can't, that's just not really a possibility. Okay, I'm just gonna tap a little bit of Heavenly from the palette on the inner corner and throw some mascara on, and I'll be right back. I can't really talk while I put mascara on easily, so. Okay, so I added a little inner corner and a little bit of mascara, and very happy with my face. This is a very, you know, everyday kind of look for me. So very happy with this. I really do like this palette a lot. I have iffy feelings about the brand as a whole, but do really like this palette, and I'm not mad that I got it, especially with a gift card, so I didn't actually pay for it. So those are my marketing red flags. Like I said, if you do want, and there's probably more that I will think of later, but those are the ones that came to mind immediately. If you do want to know my opinion about like red flags as far as watching content and like reviews or reading reviews of products, let me know, and I'm happy to film that one as well. I know Jamila just did it, and then Nikki and Angelica did a collab doing that, so let me know if you'd like my opinion on that. I should start over the next couple days, actually have time to film some stuff so that there will be a little more coming at you. I've only had like one video a week for the last 3 or 4 weeks, just because life has been chaotic. But hopefully I have some time the next couple days to do some more, catch up on my list of things I want to film, and then I do want to do a video, like a Chatty Get Ready With Me, where I talk about the trip and my interview and stuff, but I need to wait until I know more. So let me know in the comments below your red flags and the things you look for in marketing. It doesn't have to be makeup specific. There's probably things that I missed or forgot about. So let me know in your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.